Hello, so it's Mr. Rosenberger, back at it again with the white vans. No, just kidding. Back at it again with the reflexive verbs. So, here they are again. I just want to show you this part. To review real fast, we have mete, se, nos, and se. These are our reflexive pronouns that we use. If I do something to myself, I'm going to use me. You do something to yourself, we'll use te. If he does something to himself, she does something to herself, or you form will do something to yourself, we'll use se. Nos is if we do something to ourselves, or say again, so say is on there twice. Say can also be used for themselves or for yourselves, so plural. Both of these are for more than one people, right? More than one person, I should say. So we for nos, or say for themselves or for yourselves. I have a few more examples because I only gave you one last time, and hopefully this will help clear things up. The first one, she, ella, maquillarse. If you look at your list on 153, maquillarse means to put on makeup. So I want to say she puts on makeup. This is a reflexive verb. It has the se on the end because she's doing it to herself. She's putting on the makeup and she's putting it on herself. So it's a reflexive verb with the se. We're going to start off with our 3 steps. The first step, if you remember, let's try this side. First step, if you remember, is we move the se, this guy, out front. And again, I chose the bad marker. So sorry, be patient with me. So there's our se. We're going to move it out in front of the verb. So boom, there's our step 1. It's going to go right there. So at this point, what I have is ella se maquillar. All I'm doing is rewriting what I had and just moving the se out front. That is it. So there we go. Step 2, let me move this other way. Step 2 was we need to change this se, and we need to make it work with her, with she. The deal is that you might notice, I told you, and also was on page 156, that we use se for herself, and ella means she, so these actually work together. We actually don't need to change this se at all, because se works with her, and that's our subject, her or she. So step 2 is already done. We moved it out in front, and in this case we don't have to change it, so we can leave it. Step 3, if you remember, is we have to conjugate our verb. And excuse me, as always when we do that, take off the last 2 letters, and we got to now add something back, something that works with her. It's an AR verb, and she is the one doing the action, so we're going to add an A to it. So she puts on her makeup. That's kind of what it's saying. Ella se maquilla. I got one more. Nosotros secarse. Secarse means to dry yourself. What exactly does the book say? To dry oneself. Let me be accurate. So we're going to do our same 3 steps as always. I'm going to rewrite nosotros for we. At step 1, if you remember, I'm going to move the se in front of the verb. So nosotros se secar. Remember, once I move that se, that's a normal verb now, and I can treat it as such. So step 1 was done. I moved this se out in front and rewritten it here. Now we need step 2 to potentially, maybe, because we didn't this time, maybe change that se. Nosotros is our subject, so we're going to need to go with the nos, because we're saying we do it to ourselves. So that se, step 2, will change to nos. Sorry, my handwriting's so poor, but that's a nos. And then step 3, we need to conjugate our verb. So we take off the last 2 letters, like always. We need to make it work with nosotros, and if you remember for AR verbs in the nosotros, it is amos. So we dry ourselves is what it's saying. Here are 2 more examples. I hope these combine with the one that I gave you in the last video and also the ones in the other video that I have. I'm just hoping that all these examples will help to make this clear. One quick thing that a lot of students mess up is now that we've learned all these, the mete, se, nos, and se, students sometimes will start adding them everywhere. So for example, I'm going to use a little space down here. They might say I talk or I speak. So we have yo and hablar, and of course to conjugate that, take off the last 2 letters and add an o. Since we learned all this stuff though, some students are really excited because they understand it, and they start adding these guys in everywhere. So I see some students say, yo me hablo. And they start, like I said, using it with all kinds of verbs. And that's not how this works. We only use the me, te, se, nos, and se for certain verbs, for the reflexive verbs. And if you're ever uncertain of what those are, remember they're on the top of page 153. 153. Those are the verbs that use these pronouns. The me, te, se, nos, and se. We don't need to start adding them everywhere because a lot of times it's not going to make much grammatical sense. So I hope that clears some stuff up for you.